What is up, guys? Season 2 of Control Z continues tonight. If I can actually speak the words with my mouth. Episode 5, and it is the return of Sueda.
Yeah,
Mm,
the sequel.
Appropriately so, with
the
our
sequel.
pre-show Star Wars talking.
This would be Sueda Strikes Back, right?
Sueda Strikes Back.
That's right.
Yeah, good to have you, Jared.
How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. It's Monday. As good as can be expected for a Monday.
Yeah.
But I've learned after a couple of years, the first year and a half I was in business, I don't know why, but I would stack Monday just like any other day. And then a light bulb went off after about a year and a half. And I'm like, why don't I just make Monday like an easy transition day? Why don't I put like revisions and, research on that day? So ever since then, Mondays are kind of like my ease in day. So
Nice.
that's happening.
Thinking.
Yeah. Well, my daughter, she's on spring break right now, so I'm like, I don't even know what day it is.
Man, yeah, I know that.
Yeah, my kids
So,
I could just see
been
you.
about
What year is it?
been about 8 or 9 months since the last time you were on. What have you been up to?
Lately in the past year, actually, I think the last time I was on, I was focusing on building the brand and gaining clients. This year, my whole focus for 2015 was to start transitioning the business or start transitioning my brand.
Mhm.
I created Sueda to kind of get back to creating and, kind of get back to freedom, having freedom in my life rather than working for somebody and building their dreams. I decided I wanted to do, what I wanted to do. So I think I've been doing the brand for 5 years now, right at 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
My 5-year plan was to build up enough to, eventually transition into the art that I wanted to do rather than, be at the mercy of the client constantly. So this year is kind of like a transition year for me. I want to, and I've already started working on licensing out, the art. I make money when my, we call it BIC, butt is in chair. When your butt's in the chair, you're making money. When your butt's not in the chair, you're not making money. So one of the hurdles for any artist who goes out on his own is, how do I increase revenue but not kill myself in the meantime? So I always had it in my head that eventually I'd have to, build a widget or license out products. I'd have to have something that I built one time and it would be a residual income for me. So this year was licensing products, and I had to go out and find or market enough, either pull marketing, market well enough that I drew in the right clients, or push marketing. I'd have to go find those clients and kind of see, if my art was viable in their market and we could get into a licensing agreement. So, and that way I can do the art one time and it makes a residual income for me. And really what that is, I mean, my focal point isn't to, I need to make $1 million. My focal point is I wanted to make enough money that I wasn't capping myself creatively every day, that my butt didn't have to be in the chair and I have, wake up on a Tuesday and be like, okay, I got 4 illustrations I have to do today, and the juice better be there, because if it's not, then that day is going to fold over into the next day and then the next day, and then I'm going to be stressed out. And then I've just created the same problem that I was trying to get away from, which is I wanted my freedom. So this year I wanted to have 10. That was my goal, 10 licensing agreements. And I'm working on 4 right now. The 4th one I'm trying to close out and get that one in the works, and so I've got the rest of the year to kind of gain 6 more. And what that's doing for me, my whole plan is to eventually transition the brand that I can work on the projects I really dig. I'm not scheduled out that it's killing me. And what I can really do is transition into creating what I want to create, whatever that may be. If I want to sit down and take 3 weeks to create a piece of art, then I could have the 3 weeks to create a piece of art, because I have residual income that's coming in. I'm working on select clients, and then I'm doing my own art, and that's eventually my plan, is eventually to get to a place where, you know, I can wake up and I'm working on my own stuff, you know, and if I'm creating, you know, lithographs, stereographs, whatever, prints, silkscreen prints, whatever that is, licensing that art out to, you know, any commercial avenue. So that's what I've been working on.
Is it ever in the plans to go from a sole proprietorship into like a larger studio kind of?
No, you know, in my former life when I was a creative director, managing that many people, and I had an in-house department of 7, 8 guys, and then I had a freelance network that I managed that was another 6, 7 guys. And what I really dug about that is I love grooming guys. I love co-laboring creatively with guys, but it's a lot of work, you know, managerial wise and systems wise and organization. And I'm really good with systems and organization, but I don't want to do it, you know. So in order, if I just apply that to my brand, it's like I'd rather subcontract the work out. There's some people that if I get a project and the project's large enough, I'll let the client know, listen, you know, I dig the project, I'll take it on. I can't take the 10 pieces, but if you like this artist, which I work closely with about 2 artists, and I show them their portfolio and, you know, is this something that you're open to? And if they say yes, it's almost getting like a 2-for-1. Now they're getting, you know, similar, but they're also getting, you know, diversity.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from that, I don't think I'd ever want to grow to actually, you know, take on a full-time artist.
Mm-hmm.
I have no plans to grow the company like that, you know, because then I'm chained to it. You know, I'm chained to, you know, if I wake up Monday, like if I wake up next Monday and I decide I'm not going to work until 11 or 12 o'clock, you know, I'm gonna make breakfast with the family and I'm gonna hang out and talk. I mean, if I want to do those things, that's the freedom I've created for myself. And if I hire somebody, it's like, no, your butt's in the studio at, you know, 8 o'clock. You're setting out a schedule and, you know, you're hitting the ground running. I don't want to do that. I have no desire to do that. No.
Well, I really, I can definitely kind of mirror what you're going with. You know, Evan and Nick are aware of some things that I have in the works in terms of systems where you pretty much do a lot of the upfront work and then it sort of just makes money. And as a designer, you know, I definitely feel you having too much work on your plate and just it's a lot. Like you said, the whole BIC, you know, and that's not what I want to do every single day until I'm, you know, 75 years old. I would love to build something that takes wind and it gets to a point where if I don't want to work for 2 days in a row or something like that, we'll call it the weekend or something, then I don't have to, you know, and I'm not gonna have to. It's not my family and myself isn't gonna suffer because of that, you know.
Yeah.
Yep, that's kind of part of my business plan for this year is what I called it at the beginning of the year is making my money work for me instead of the other way around.
Yeah.
Want to be able to not have to grind every single day to make it.
You don't want to keep your butt in the chair?
Nope. I need a new chair.
Plus, it's not healthy.
Yeah, it's really not.
I mean, listen, I say all that, but my complaints are small. I mean, to be honest, I love creating, and I'm creating every day. So even if I didn't transition the business there for, you know, a couple of years, I mean, my complaints are small. You know, it's not like my complaints 5 years ago when I was a creative director and I was working 70 to 75 hours and I wasn't really doing any art and I was managing a team. I mean, for me, those were legitimate complaints. You know, my complaints now are, oh, I don't want to draw too much today. You know, I mean, that's not, you know, I don't want to be creative today. I mean, it's like whining at this point. You know, it's not even a legitimate complaint.
Right.
But that's when you know you're in a good position, when you can whine about small things.
Yeah.
What are some of those licenses, if you can talk about any of them?
Well, I can talk about one right now. I'm working on and see, for me, I've always thought like there's 2 ways to go about this push and pull marketing. You know, there's push marketing means you're creating marketing pieces and you're pushing out, you're targeting. And then there's layers of that. There's the shotgun blast, which is thousands of people. There's a rifle approach where you're centering onto one client. And then there's pull marketing, which is you're hunting and you're doing things to, you're promoting on your feeds or your website to draw in clients. And one of the clients I had, I did their logo for them. And usually if I take on a client, I'll immediately follow them on Instagram just because I want to be engrossed in what they're doing. And once we launch what I've done, I'm the kind of person I want to see it launch. I want to see the feedback from the people. I like to jump in, and if anybody's really overly obsessed with it or whatever, I check through all that stuff. But anyway, one of the clients, we had finished, and it was an armory. So what he does is he retools guns and paints guns, does Cerakote on guns, and all different firearms.
Nice.
So I did his logo. I did some branding for his website and stuff like that. And I was following him. And one day I saw a PMag, which is just a magazine for an AR-15, and he had laser etched on it. And it was just a small little emblem or something. And as soon as I saw it in the feed, I immediately had an idea, like, we need to do a Predator series. You know, these are the Predators, and the Predators of, you know, anybody who's into firearms, you know, has a certain level of testosterone and a certain perception of themselves. And I was thinking they perceive themselves as predators. I mean, I love going to shoot, and, you know, so I immediately hit him up and I'm like, I have an idea. And I pitched the idea to him. And I said, we'll do a limited run, you know, we'll do maybe 500 to 1,000 per laser engrave. I'll do a lion head, a tiger head, and we'll do a wolf or an eagle, just a main predator. And we'll do them on the PMags. And he loved it. He's like, let's do it. So those are one of the, now, and the good thing for me is that I get to do the art. He does packaging, distribution, he does the sales, and that's, you know, it's his demographic, you know, and it's his laser engraving. He does all the production of it. And I get a smaller cut for that, but at the same time, I mean, all I have to do is do the art, and then we send it off, you know, and then we just sell out of all of those. So that's one of the licensing agreements. Now, it's a smaller licensing agreement. You know, we're only going to do 500 to 1,000, but the return on the investment is, you know, 4 times what it would pay if I just did the illustrations for a client and handed it off. Yeah. So that's a way to take one thing of what I do and multiply it 4 times, you know, which frees me up. I mean, then, you know, if I have 10 of those clients, that would free me up to not have to feel like I needed to take a certain amount of clients every month, you know, and I could use that time to start working on my own illustrations. So, and I think I
was going to say, you posted one of those on your Instagram account, right? I think that's the same one.
So, can you see them?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember seeing that come through your feed.
That's sweet.
That's really awesome.
I didn't actually know at the time that was actually a real thing that was happening. Like,
That's
I guess
awesome.
I didn't read the caption or something. I just thought you were just doing it for fun.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I can. Go ahead.
Right now, me and the guy, we're working. These are the demos. So he sends me out. You know, I send him the art. We troubleshoot the art. He laser engraves them, sends them back to me, and it's kind of like a pre-production run. I get to inspect kind of the quality, and I only partner up with people. I'm in no rush to build the business or get licensing agreements. I'm more focused on quality. So for me, you know, if we didn't go to market for another 2 months, it makes no difference to me. The product has to be right. You know, it has to be right on his end. It has to be right on my end. So if he wants to check me on the art and say, we need to, you know, do this and we'll get a better result, then I'm more into quality. So, and I sent him 3 pieces, and he checked one of the illustrations. He's like, I don't like it. You know, he's like, the lion and the tiger were good, but let's do another animal. And I said, okay, you know, and I threw a couple ideas at him. He's like, he killed it. And then he threw back to me, wolf. And, you know, he knows his demographic. So I'm like, done. You know, I can do a wolf. So
That's awesome.
Nice. That's definitely cool. It's like what we had discussed on the show, like seeing your work in real world applications is one of the more gratifying things as an artist. It's just cool seeing your stuff out there and people buying it, and
Hmm.
you know,
Mm. I always love the prototypes that come in first.
Yeah.
At first time, when it's like it's not quite there, but it's just cool being able to hold that
It's like
and
Christmas.
really check it out. Yeah. Yep.
That's always part of my licensing agreement now. It's like, we
Gotta send me one.
negotiate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we negotiate the art, we negotiate the price, we negotiate the time, if it's a non-disclosure, all this stuff. And then I always write in there, and I get samples,
That's awesome.
I hold on to everything, especially lately. It's been a lot of tags and uh, we're printing some patterns for some hoodies, and so I was getting the prints back from those and trying to learn just the language of the whole clothing industry as well. I'm trying to keep up with it, but it's cool to be able to hold that and be like, hey, it's it actually made it, made
Yeah.
it on here.
Yeah,
speaking of
it's
sweet shirt, Evan.
yeah.
Huh? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh.
Those are the brand new ones, right? Those are the newest.
Yeah. We just got boxes of them in, so I had to swipe one off the top of these.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
Man,
they were
you gotta post
49.
those other ones if you
49
get,
to a box.
Oh, sorry. Did I cut you off, Travis?
No, I was just making a joke.
Oh. I was gonna say, when you get, I'm anxious to see how the wolf turns out on one of those clips. If you get one of those in, gotta post to Instagram. I want to see it.
Yeah, that's and those kind of projects for me are like weekend projects. I never try and schedule work like that Monday through Friday, because I never want it to feel it's got like a time limit on it.
Oh, right.
So speaking of new things, if you guys haven't heard about it yet, I'm sure you have. But Creative Grenade just launched this week, so very exciting for Travis and his crew over there.
Yeah.
That everything going well there. I saw that you guys finally got into 2015 and got an Instagram.
Yeah.
Good job.
I mean, as I said before, I just I never. It's just one of those social media outlets that I never really just looked into or understood. And the moment I took 5 minutes to look around, I was like, why aren't we on here? So I went,
Yeah.
I set up an account and starting to post work on there. So
Me and Evan and Jared are big advocates of Instagram, if you guys don't know, so you should definitely check it out.
It's turned into my art magazine, like the Stacks art magazines I used to buy. It's now I go to Instagram and just get back. Well, either get motivated or get really sad.
it's a combination. It's like what my daughter
Like a
does.
roller coaster ride every day.
Yeah.
She'll be like crying, and then literally like that, she just goes into like a laugh.
Yeah. This is awesome. Oh, I wish I could do that.
Yeah. Wow, look at these patterns. Oh, I suck.
Yeah.
Jared and I had a quick conversation last week, and he brought up a really interesting perspective on the social media, and it's something that I hadn't really thought about until he brought it up. But basically, he was saying that Instagram and then Twitter are his primary social networks, and he doesn't really mess with too much else. Just the time-consuming part of it, and also just sort of spreading yourself too thin as far as keeping all of those updated.
Yeah.
It
Well-
is a big hassle.
Yeah, it is. And that's actually one of the things I showcased, I think, last episode. And I've been using the crap out of it too. They have a iPhone app for it and a desktop site, but it's called Buffer app. So anytime we have work to post, I can post it one time. Attach a photo, attach a description, etc. I hit share, and it shares it to Twitter, Facebook, Google Plus, and soon there's talks about Instagram opening up their API, so it'll post an Instagram photo, pretty much in one shot, which is pretty nice. But even with that, it does still take some time to manually go in every outlet. And the only reason we do it is just because, for example, like you guys are saying, Instagram has a whole client base that we're not reaching right now because we didn't have anything on there, you know. So now that we do, and now we have a Facebook as well, a YouTube that we're starting up to put some more stuff on there. And we've actually noticed within even the last 2 weeks of posting stuff that it has increased a lot of emails from clients. So
Yeah, that's really the major point, I think, is it bringing in new clients, or are you just wasting your time? I know a lot of people who run their entire business off of Behance, and that's just something I don't have time to do at all, because the presentation quality on Behance is, whereas Instagram, you just sort of just post the art and your works in progress and stuff like that. Behance seems like if you're not posting an insanely prepared presentation every time, it's just lackluster compared to what else is
yeah,
out there.
you have to spend an
Well, it's
extra
not only
30
that.
minutes to.
It's a red ocean. It's full of blood. There's strategies in marketing that talk about blue ocean strategy, which is where nobody's swimming, where there's no competition, or do you want to do the red ocean, which is there's everybody's in there. And Behance, for me, when I looked at Behance, it was like there's a million artists in here, and the competition is so thick. To rise above it, I would have to invest so much time in this. So for me, it was a immediate, absolutely no, I'm not going here. Why would I go into a place and compete head to head with all of these other people? I'll just create my own path in other avenues, And
That's
for
good.
me, Instagram is equal parts fun. I mean, I only follow anybody that inspires me. I follow it. It is like one of my main vessels to just drool over art and be inspired. And then it's business. I mean, I think it's 36% of my revenue is now via Instagram. So that's where I focus my time. It's both here I can go to get inspired and look at other artists and actually have a community of people to talk to and interact with. And it's where I'm generating revenue and have a revenue stream. So it's part of my marketing. So
Yeah.
That's a big chunk.
Yeah.
You say like 40%?
yeah,
35, 40.
it's close to. I was trying to, and it's very hard for me to. I'm always qualifying. If an email comes in, I'll try and qualify them. Where'd you find me? But a lot of them are easy, and I like making lists. I like knowing what's working, what's not working. I'm very analytical that way. Even down to my illustration. If this is working, this style, this technique's working, all the way to marketing. And I started to come pretty close to 40% was coming. And part of that's exciting, but the other part of that scares me. It's like, wow, that's a huge chunk, and if Instagram goes down. So I always diversify. I always make sure that I'm doing other things too, just in case, who knows?
Yeah.
Instagram takes a dump, internet gets cut, something happens, basket. So
Yeah.
I think I'd be more scared if Instagram cut all the inspiration. I'd be like, oh God, all the holy artists.
No.
Now I have to go to the red ocean.
Yeah.
I don't have any swim trunks.
No.
Behance.net/Sway have taken.
Why?
You can have it.
Well, in that case, we will be right back. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, not only that, I like interacting. So to have more than Instagram for me, like I try to respond to almost everybody in Instagram. And when I had Facebook, it was just Facebook wasn't generating any traction. And then it was responding to all these ridiculous questions that were completely off topic. And I was like, this is a waste of my time.
Yeah.
I can't invest my time here and expect to actually get any art done or build any clientele here. So it's just easier for me to stay in Instagram. I can interact, I respond to people, I get to see cool art, and I do business there. So it's kind of a win across the board for me.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Facebook was a difficult avenue. I attempted to get into it, and then I think like right after I got my page all set up and looking the way I wanted it to, they changed the design on it, and I was like, you know what?
Upload a cover photo.
You know what?
Oops,
Facebook
your cover
loves
photo
it.
doesn't fit anymore. Upload a new one. Yeah, Facebook, I create Facebook pages for any businesses that I do, mainly just so that I have it. because I don't want anyone else to take it, because I've ran into that problem with previous businesses, you know. So it's more of just like a safe keep thing, and post a few things now and then, just very, very rarely, but more so just so that the brand name is there, and at least it's just present throughout there, but not really a super interactive thing anyway.
So, Jared, whenever you sort of sit down at the beginning of the day and you're sifting through all your junk mail, and then you finally get to a legitimate email, how do you decide, is this a project that I'm going to take on, or is this something I'm going to pass on?
First, I qualify them. I respond to almost anybody who inquire. I never just dump emails. I just think it's just poor practice. It's being an ass is what it is. You just dumping emails because you think you're somebody, and that person's below me. I think that's crap. So I qualify them. I hit them up with an email, and it's always thank you for hitting me up, but it qualifies them. I need your name. I need your website. I need anything to get a visual eye into what you're doing. I need you to clarify the scope of the job. And I give them brackets. Is it custom lettering? Is it, logo brand development? Is it an illustration? Then when that email comes back, that's when I visually qualify them. Do I want to invest the time into this project? And is it something I like? I mean, my first gut reaction, or my first decision making, is if I like the job. Because if I like it, then I'm going to put, my creativity is going to be, stoked about it. If I don't like it, if I don't feel it creatively, I immediately pass on the job. Because it's doing me a disservice, wasting my time, and it's definitely doing the person a disservice. Because they want something great, but if I'm not feeling the job, then, if I don't come through for that client, I'd feel like I was robbing them. So if I don't dig the job, if I'm not feeling it, I pass. If I do like the job, then the next thing I hit them up with is, okay, if you're not going to hit me with what your budget is, then here's my pricing. And then we just go from there. So, and right now I used to be booked. Towards the end of the year, I was kind of stressing out. I was almost 2.5 months out scheduled. And that was leaving room for revisions. And so I just started, and I hate passing on jobs, especially jobs that come through that I really like. I hate passing on them, but I had to start passing on jobs. I had to start telling people, I can't even get to your stuff for, 3 months legitimate. Mm-hmm. So I'm respectfully going to pass, so.
$20,000 rush fee.
Yeah. I had a guy hit me up, email, no lie. All he said was, I absolutely love your hand style lettering. I want you to do a couple pieces for me, but when you're done, I don't want anybody else to have it. That style.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that.
So I emailed back and I said, okay. I said, done deal. I said, when I'm done, I'll cut off my hand. I'm thinking, what do you want me to do here, dude? I mean, that's a legitimate. Is that really a legitimate question? I mean, you want to not draw anymore after this?
We love your logos, and we really like the color orange, but you're not allowed to use the color orange ever again.
Ever again.
Should have sent him like a bunch of sketches of just like bubble letters. Something you're never gonna do.
Draw with your non-dominant hand.
I'll just send him an invoice with a line item. Severed hand, $5 million.
The real question is, would you do it?
Yeah. What if he was like, cool?
For $5 million?
$5 million. Yeah. Yeah. Because you just that's not what living's really about,
Would you go total Luke Skywalker and just?
Bionic hand.
Yeah. So whenever you pass on a project, do you have like a list of people that you refer them to, or are you just kind of like, I'm not interested, find somebody else?
Yeah, no. If it's an illustration and I've looked at the brand, and I think, and I can't take it, but I think the other artist that I use would definitely fit and work for them. And I don't like passing off clients either, because unless I know that the artist is going to come through, because it's my referral. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? it's my name, and a lot of my clients are return clients. You know, I'm fast with my clients. I'll be thorough with my clients. I give them my best, so they return. So to hand them off is almost like, you know, I'm on the other line going, listen, I'm thinking about handing this off to you. You better not screw this up.
Yeah.
So, but definitely, yeah, I hate leaving clients hanging, especially if I dig the job, but I don't think I can take it. But I want to still service that client. I still want them to get, you know, kick-ass art. So I'll definitely refer them to some artists.
What is your like average turnaround time?
Now it's about 3 weeks. So I used to be, I'm pretty scheduled and I'm pretty efficient. So it used to be around 2 weeks, you know, to get comps in, do revisions. Luckily, in my career, I haven't had to hit major revisions. You know, it's always, I'm getting to a point now where most clients are accepting what I'm taking and just want minor tweaks. But there are some clients that are like, I don't care for it at all. You know, it's just not hitting the mark. But I'm usually about 3 weeks out. So
It's always nice when you hand off a revision and they're like, print, done.
yeah.
You're like, yes.
Sometimes you send them a screenshot and they're like, "Thank you so much. We'll be in touch later for more work." And you're like, "All I sent you was a screenshot."
Yeah, please don't post this. Please don't post this Giazzo.
Where'd that contract go? I know we signed.
To go out and buy a lottery ticket if they accept the first draft. Jeez. So what? So I know that you probably sort of get like a smorgasbord of requests, but what do you typically get requests for? Like t-shirt related or print, or do you do a lot of print?
Uh, no, I'd say 80 to 90, maybe 90% of what I do is going to hit a garment in some way, shape, or form. It's going to hit a garment. And of that work, it's split pretty good. I mean, I'm a third custom lettering, a third straight illustration, and then a third just, you know, we need straight garment designs. We want graphics on there. So, I mean, last year, I'll tip a little bit more. I built my business on custom lettering.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy custom lettering. I can handle a wide variety of styles. So, you know, last year I think I was counting. I did 200 and I think it was 260 or 270 custom type pieces last year. You know, so that was that.
So that was
That kinda-
hashtag BIC.
Man,
That's a lot, man.
So it's usually thirds, but it'll always tip a little bit more custom lettering. I have more requests on custom lettering than anything.
Yeah.
So.
That kind of stuff is actually super popular right now. As I follow several of like the typography based accounts on Instagram and things like that, and they're just pumping it out like, and you know, and that kind of stuff is really great to go on really anything, t-shirts and cell phone cases, and there's so many things you can put it on nowadays.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I mean, circling back to the kind of making something and then sort of getting some residual income. Have you created fonts and stuff like that and put them up anywhere?
I have about 20 fonts in my shop right now.
Okay.
And here's the thing, I have 20 more fonts that are almost done, but I never can find time to finish them off, you know? and they're much better than the fonts that are in my shop, which, you know, just a couple of days ago I'm looking through, I organized my files and I'm looking through shop unfinished fonts, and I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 4. I get up to 20, I think it was like 22 or 23. I'm like, I have 23 unfinished fonts just sitting in a folder. Some of them are just like, you know, I need a couple of more letters. I mean, like maybe 3 or 4 letters. And I'm just like, you are ridiculous. Just finish something.
It's a W. Oh, it's gonna take 20 minutes at least.
It's gonna take forever.
You can find all of your fonts at sueda.com, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And I
I'd
love
definitely
creating fonts. I mean, I love lettering, and every project that I do for custom lettering, especially if I have a client that hits me up and they're like, you know, we want you to do our name and want you to do it in like 4 or 5 different styles. And of when I get into that project, I'm probably realistically trying 7 or 8 and see what hits to present that 5.
Mhm.
And then when I present those 5s, because they're one-off custom pieces. Of those 5, I can usually find at least one that I can build a whole font out of, because they're all custom. So I'm sitting there building, 7, 8 letters into this guy's name, or 9 letters, or whatever, 6 letters. So I've already got a really good feel for a font. So for me to just rip out the rest of the font usually takes 4, maybe 3, 4 hours, to do a font. So.
Very
Are
cool.
you still? I remember last time we were talking. Are you still doing like all pen tool and stuff like that, or have you done?
Yeah.
Have you switched over to the
No, no,
tablet life?
no brushes in Illustrator, no Wacom tablet, none of that stuff. It's pencil. I've always been an illustrator. I've always drawn first, pencil to paper. For me, that relationship nothing can ever come close to it, because I've lived and grown with the pencil in my hand. I mean, I've trained my hand to do all pushing and pulling, and I'm just so comfortable there. So I'll finish, or I'll do a sketch. If it's an illustration, I'll do a rough sketch, flip it off to the client, see if they like the composition, the look, the feel. If they do, I'm now getting to the point where I'm building in time that I like drawing. So I want to do a finished pencil. And that means clean lines. I'll sit on the light table and clean lines, trace it all out, all the different line quality, and show them a finished pencil. And some people are like, oh, that's ridiculous. Why are you doing a finished pencil and then scanning it and do it? But you know what? I love drawing, and I'll find different techniques to do vectoring just by drawing. Because while I'm in there doing a technique, and well, what if I did this and this, and the ideas come so much faster because it's right there, the pencil's in my hand. Mm-hmm. Then I scan that, and then it's just I get in there with a pen tool and zoom in at 1,000,000,000% and go over every single line. So. And I just like it. It's comfortable for me. It's probably not the fastest, and I know there's probably people going, oh, he could cut that time in half. I'm not looking to cut time. I'm looking to build, nice looking, clean art. So if that takes me an extra hour to do it, then I'll take an extra hour. No big deal.
You can tell too when people put the time in, especially with fonts. Evan was talking about this. If they've created the correct tracking between the A and W and stuff like that, you can definitely tell when fonts have been created by someone that truly cares about it and has some emotion behind it all.
Yeah.
And the people that are just like, I'm just looking to make a quick $10 from people. Here's a letter P with 64 anchor points. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, like I will sit and it's
and
called
the P's over here and the A's over here when you write them together.
Yeah. And they don't even line up. And
that is the worst. You get a font, whether it's a free font or a paid font. Usually the paid fonts are a lot better, obviously, but and you get it in there and it's the perfect font for what you want to do, and you go in there to customize it, and then you open up the anchor points on it and you're like, Jesus Christ, what has happened? What has happened in this creative process?
Well, it's definitely a situation of hand drawn to life trace. Here's your font.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah.
I just want everyone who's in the chat right now or watching this video on YouTube, go to Sueda.com, open up a new tab, go to Sueda.com, and just look at some of his work and just let your mind boggle about how he does all of that with pen tool and no tablet or brushes or anything. It's actually ridiculous.
I hire people through E-Lanes.
You're ridiculous. You sir are ridiculous.
That's what they tell me.
I saw that art you posted of that someone else did for you, where it was your severed hand on a mouse that had a big like jaw on it.
Yeah,
like that's totally him.
For sure.
That guy's an amazing illustrator. If you've ever looked, I think it's Katun. I think that's his handle on Instagram.
Yep.
And he does some amazing illustrations. So Yeah, I was pretty humble. Like it's one thing, you know. I'm always humbled. I'm actually uncomfortable. If anybody's paying me compliments, I'm just uncomfortable with it. But when another artist pays you a compliment and somebody you respect, I mean, I really don't know what to do after that. You know, I'm like, this guy, he actually took time and did an illustration and sent it over to me, and I'm like, wow. You know, the first thing I always think is, wow, I'm a piece of crap. I don't take time to do this to anybody. You know.
I don't think I've ever done another piece for another artist either. That's a good point.
Someone
We're
just
all-
did that.
He's an amazing illustrator.
Why are you guys slacking off, huh?
We're garbage. Yeah,
Garbage.
Evan does one. Evan does one every week for the thumbnails for the YouTube.
Evan, I'll draw you a unicorn if you want.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
I'll do it in MS Paint with a 2-pixel square brush. It's gonna look good.
It's gonna be next level, man.
It'll be your next avatar for
Yeah.
years.
I'll get it tattooed.
So let's. Speaking of illustrations and things, Evan, do you want to take a look at?
So we had
The submissions?
Every week we have a challenge, and this week was or 2 weeks ago we had a challenge just to draw something weird. So let's see. Are you gonna boot them on up there,
Yep.
Trav?
They just came
All
up
right.
here. Might take you a few seconds here to show up.
I
Twitch.
can't see Travis.
If you want to check out the illustrations, go to twitch.tv/Ctrl+Z show, and you'll see the illustrations up.
Yeah, it's just Ctrl+Z cast.
Or Ctrl+Z cast, yep. My bad. That branding.
One of these days we'll get that narrowed down.
They're all the same. You can't even mess it up.
Yep. So the challenge was just to draw something strange, and it could be the requirement was just to pick up a pencil or a stylus or something and just draw away and then send it our way so we could show it here on the show. So I can't read the file names. Who are we looking at there?
This one is George Fowler.
Okay.
He had 2 submissions. So.
Oh, okay. This one is definitely it definitely is the definition of weird.
It looks like a steering wheel. Like you're gonna.
It's got kind of that clown vibe to it. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I liked is you sort of like zoom in a little bit and there's some details that you don't sort of see right off. It kind of looks like a little skull in his nose area there, and then he's kind of got like the little clown type cheeks with the little circles inside of the circles. It's really nice.
I like this like extra, almost like he's wearing one of those hoodies that has a face on it. It's creeping me out. I'm not gonna lie, because I can't tell. Is it like another head that's like eating the main head? We'll never know.
Yes.
Very cool.
Do you want me
Good
to
job.
pull up his second one?
Yep.
Oh yeah, go ahead and go to the second.
All right, so here's the second one by the same person, George Fowler, and it's an assortment of creatures. I was gonna say aliens, but they could be anything really, monsters. And man, this is my favorite part, and I know it's such a small detail, but I like how the teeth here on this far right one are like connected, and it's almost like
Yeah.
They're like
goo or-
slime.
yeah. This,
Yeah, so I'm glad he submitted another one because this one was from an old project apparently. But regardless, these guys are definitely weird.
yeah. It reminds me
the
of
third from the left reminds me of what is that Star Wars character from the latest 3 where it has it's this thing that flies. I forget what that character's name is, but it reminds me of that puppet animal thing.
They all do kind of look like creatures that would be in like Jabba's tavern. You just roll up on these guys.
I definitely, if this guy doesn't have a career in anything yet, which I would be surprised if he doesn't with this skill level. I see a lot of like concept art and game character art and stuff like that in this guy's future, for sure.
Can you see these, Jared?
No.
We can send you can someone send him the link real quick?
Yeah. Do you
And
need the link here?
Yeah.
Is
just
it
make
possible?
sure just make sure you mute the stream when it opens up in the bottom left. All right.
Good job, George.
Yes, awesome. So the third one
Very
here
good.
is is from Clear Design, and this is a zombification of me, apparently.
I saw.
I love that he got the hair right, and
Yeah.
I don't
Which
even.
version you like better?
I
Skin tone, green or blue?
I'm gonna say green. I'm gonna say green's probably the best one.
Yeah, the green.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. I don't know. I like the Smurf one. That's.
I like the blue.
The
I like what he did with the skin, and he definitely nailed the hair, I think. And the eyes are just bizarre.
They look like pepperonis. It looks like a. This reminds me of like if my face was turned into a pizza and put into the oven.
I'm not eating that. I'm not eating that.
Yeah, I'm not eating that either. Definitely weird. I can't say anything more than that. Definitely weird and great job on this.
Captured the spirit of the challenge. Very nice.
Yes. All right. Next one is from Adam Stokes. He's got his URL down here too, adamstokesdesign.com. A Smirnoff bottle with a sort of reminds me of like a Rolling Stones-esque.
I want to say something about this one. I'm pretty sure he was saying that he did this, right, Evan?
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't. The tweet was kind of like hard to decipher at first.
I think Adam meant if you've seen Adam's art, he's extremely talented.
Yeah, he's very.
I think he did this in the past for maybe, I don't know if it was a portfolio piece or something for just to promote Smirnoff in some way. But I think that what he meant was he had done it in the past and he was wondering if he could just resubmit it for the show, and you definitely can do stuff like that. So if you have if next challenge you have stuff in the past that you want to send our way, that's definitely a-okay.
Yeah. I mean, as long as it falls under the criteria of the challenge. I mean,
yep.
my biggest question is who's gonna grab this bottle? I'm not. It's definitely
that
creepy.
Gonna grab you.
Yeah. Yeah, I like.
Yeah, you should check out Adam's other stuff on his.
He does stuff like this a lot.
Yeah.
I like the shading a lot. Very I mean, it's probably like 4 colors in here. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Very nice, Adam.
Yes. Let's see. This one is from Smoky Crasher, and it says, "Would care for a drink." I want to say this is a digital painting, but I'm not sure. I mean, either way, it's very cool, and I think right away, and you guys probably think this too, the lighting that this like helmet in the suit that the lighting that it's catching is really, really great.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely makes this whole thing pop for me.
If you don't know Smokey, you should definitely check him out on Twitter. And the thing that's insane about him is he probably drew this in less than 30 minutes.
That's awesome. Do you know if this was manual or if it was a digital art piece?
It's a digital art piece.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tablet.
Awesome.
He's definitely traveling down that concept art style road, and it's looking pretty nice. I like the mixture of the warm and the cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Colorway in here, and
it's just like such a original thing. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this. It's pretty cool.
The thing that throws it for me, that definitely gives it that weird factor, is that like the proportions for the skull and even the positioning. It's like the skull is kind of like shrinked down into the suit. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not the size and the position that the skull actually would be if it was just a helmet. So it's just kind of it's like floating in there. It's definitely creepy.
It reminds me of those bowling balls that have little skulls in them. Have you ever seen those?
I
Their little
haven't.
skulls inside. It's hilarious.
Was there one like Big Lebowski or something?
Yeah.
Mike
Some movie
Wazowski.
that had- yeah.
The
So
Big
good.
Lebowski.
Yeah.
Love Big Lebowski.
Good job. Definitely weird.
Definitely weird.
Little bow tie. The next one is from Pixels to Life, who's on
What?
the show.
Who's this guy?
What? I see a whole lot of eyeballs.
Did.
Now,
was
what
like-
program did you do this one in?
What's that?
Which program did you do this one in?
I think I just threw this together in Photoshop. I was bored one day. I think I did this one out of the necessity for something to post on Instagram. So I was like, oh,
That's why it's a square.
got this challenge.
And when you posted it, did you have all eyes on you?
It was.
Boom-ch.
It's very well played, sir.
Haha.
You know, have,
Very
have you
cool.
guys, to briefly change the subject, have you guys noticed, I've noticed this to myself, that now instead of when I open a canvas that is just to like just sketch or draw on, I'm noticing that I'll create new documents that are squares rather than like just going to default 8x10 or some other standard size. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm already thinking, okay, how's this going to crop down to Instagram?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm posting on Instagram too much.
I didn't even know about Instagram or what it was all about, but ever since I've started doing branding and any kind of anything in Illustrator, I've always started it out for some reason 900 by 900 pixels.
Yeah.
And actually that is for a reason. That's just because every time I want to show it to someone, I know that 900 by 900 is going to show up on their screen and they don't have to pan around. That's a good I never really noticed that, but I think a lot of people are doing that now. Doing squares.
In.
Yeah.
Instagram's gonna get us.
So this one is from JB128 _, and it's like a fabrication of like a gas mask and sort of like a Jason hockey mask.
Oh yeah, I remember this one.
Mm-hmm. And I like that he's showing the process here. It looks like he started out with some manual art, converted that to line work, and then went into some fills and some colors.
Yeah, I think he specifically mentioned that he was going for the sort of serial killer type mask blended with the gas mask.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good idea, you know, because you see the gas mask thing a lot, and so it's a nice change up from that.
It makes me wonder like where this guy's gonna kill you, since it's a mix of like a hockey mask and a gas mask. Don't mess with this guy if you're at a hockey game, because he's gonna kick the doors down, throw some smoke, and starts.
Yeah, he just uses smoke, man. Just tosses it in there, and he's got the gas mask, so he's good.
I can see a really terrible Netflix movie, like gas smoke guy, but
This is Jason's his SWAT getup.
yeah. But regardless of all that, great work, very creepy. I can see myself having nightmares with this guy. All right, and last but not least, we have Matt Burrows _, and this guy's face is being ripped off by a hook, I think.
What nightmare fuel? Here you go. This is this is definitely weird.
And what makes it even more scary is this is only 50% resolution.
Yeah.
Here's 100.
We're afraid to show the high res.
Yeah, this guy.
I hope your kids aren't around the screen right now.
This guy went swimming in the wrong place.
He's in the red ocean.
He got fish hooked.
Man, I'm very curious, Matt, when you watch this, if you don't mind commenting on the YouTube video, I'd love to hear about how you did the portion under the skin, because I noticed the rest of it looks pretty digital art, but up here it looks very kind of like watercolor-esque. I'm just curious as to, what programs you used and stuff like that to create this effect, because I'm pretty intrigued by that kind of manual texture, even though I think this is all digital. It's very cool.
Good job, guys. I'm
I'm
happy
creeped
with
out.
I'm happy with the challenges that we've been doing. The response has been great, and it's always fun to see other artists work, no matter what. And the fact that we kind of just give you these oddball restrictions, it makes it more entertaining to see what you guys come up with. And I hope that it's helping some of you guys learn and sort of branch out to new areas that you haven't necessarily gotten into before.
hmm
Yep.
Good stuff.
Well, speaking of learning, that's a good segue into my top five tonight. And
Travis's top five.
so my top five tonight is pretty much about, you know, if you're starting out or even if you're a veteran designer, we've all started somewhere, and I know at least for me, just jumping into the program is almost never a safe way to do it. It's very intimidating when you first jump in. So if you're just starting out, if you're just starting out, or even if you've been designing for quite a while, all these websites are fantastic if you are looking for tutorials or looking for paid lessons. And a lot of these sites are honestly at the college level of profession or of teaching all these tools. So the first one is lynda.com, and that's with a Y, and we're also going to link these in the below the video here. So lynda.com has essentially any lesson or any kind of program you want to learn. It's all on here. It is very design oriented, which is great. So for example, if you just want to learn things about the pen tool, you can just search it here, and here's a video on the pen tool. That's a CS6 one. There's 5-minute ones. Now, lynda.com, you do have to pay for some of the courses. However, if there are certain things with Adobe that you can get set up where you can actually get some free lessons, or you can get like a month free. And I definitely encourage you checking this out. This is actually where I started. When I first started getting into design, I wanted to, learn tools that I had no idea about, and I started here, and then eventually I kind of branched off and started doing YouTube more. But so that one's great, lynda.com. The second and third one are very similar to Lynda. This one is Ctrl+Z, and I believe it falls under the Envato umbrella. So if you're familiar with things like Theme Forest, Graphic River, Video Hive, all of those Envato or design asset sites, Ctrl+Z is basically their tutorial website. Again, super awesome. They have pretty much anything you could ever want to learn. So just right here on the home page, there's, if you want to learn Swift programming languages, responsive web design, time-lapse video for photographers. They have ebooks, full courses, and the quality. And I've actually taken a few lessons here that I've paid for, and the quality is really, really great. You're always going to get someone with a super great mic and HD, and they're going to share their screen and all that stuff. So really great place there. And of course, Skillshare.com. Most of you have probably heard of this. Same concept as the other ones. On Skillshare, they definitely have some other things outside of design, but it is also very design oriented. Pretty much just another website, very similar to the previous two. So definitely check it out. It is also a paid website, but you can look at the overviews of lessons before you get into the actually buying the lesson, and they also have free lessons. If you
They
sign
do
up,
they do a lot of stuff outside of design as well. Like a lot of other creative fields like photography and things like that. There's even one that I saw like on social media marketing and stuff like that. They've got a lot of courses that are outside of sort of the realm of design if you're interested in that kind of stuff.
yeah. And just to give a quick shout out to Fraser Davidson, he has an account on here, and he has a fantastic tutorial. If you're into mascot logo design, let me make sure this doesn't play. If you're into the sport style that we put out a lot at Creative Grenade, definitely I for sure urge you to take this lesson. And it was free when I took it. I don't know if it's free still, but definitely check it out. I'll if you just look up Fraser Davidson on Skillshare or look up Sport Logo, you'll find it. And I do want to point out one other cool thing about Skillshare that's a little different than these other tutorial sites. Skillshare is more of like it's like a lesson with a project assigned. So when you take when you take a Skillshare course or you do a class with them, you see here it says project assignment. So he's going to go over, or whoever's putting up the lesson, they're going to go over all the tools and explain what you need to do. But then there's like a class project that you're assigned to. And if you go here and you go to the project gallery, these are all basically students of this lesson. So he's challenging people like, using what you've learned in this class, create some cool sport logos. So incredible skill here in artwork. So that's definitely a really cool thing in here.
Yeah. Allows you to get instant feedback on, you learned it, you put those applications into real world work, and then you post it for other people to critique. It's kind of like an all-in-one sort of thing. It's almost like its own social media network.
Yeah, I mean, and the response on some of these projects like this one is just incredible. I mean, it just keeps scrolling forever with all these logos that people have done. The fourth one is, of course, the almighty YouTube. You can pretty much, and obviously it's free, you can look up just about anything you want to learn within design, and just about any other YouTube video you'd like to look up. You can search for cats dancing on a water fountain, and you will find a video one. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
And the fifth, the fifth one, and I'm gonna
YouTube.com Evan Eckert.
Yeah, yeah, right there. The fifth one, I'm gonna butcher the name. I want to say it's
there though.
Abduzidu. We will definitely link this one. If you come over to tutorials here, you can come down to Illustrator, and they've got some great stuff on here, playing with triangles and patterns in Illustrator, offset path effect. And what's great is all the tutorials that they put up here. I really appreciate the time that they put into actually doing some really great artwork with that tutorial. And some of them are video based, and some of them are more image and text based. And for me, a lot of times I can actually appreciate the text and image based tutorials rather than a video. So it just depends on what kind of tutorial you like to follow. So he is going through all the steps, explaining every single piece of it, and then pretty much conclusion with the final piece. So another really great tutorial site. And that is it. That is my top 5.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely check all those out, and we'll have those in the description after Evan reminds me that I forgot about it and he puts them up. I'm seriously 0 for 4 on that. He literally messaged me. He's like, forgot the links again. I'm like, God. So we will definitely
go in and add other stuff that you don't know about too. So
yeah, exactly. I gotta go back and check. Go back and check the description and make sure you did it right. Something that I was thinking about earlier, Jared, that I was going to ask you, and then we got sidetracked. Were you always into the hand lettering, or were you more of an illustrator when you started out, or was it like a 50-50 sort of deal?
Oh, I was. Lettering didn't come till later. I mean, I drew almost when I figured out that I could actually draw. I consumed everything. Anything I saw, I wanted to draw it. Magazine, real life, anything. It wasn't until,
when you were like an infant, and you just found a pencil and you just started drawing.
Actually, I didn't grab a pencil and realize I could draw until I was 8 or 9 years old, which, for some illustrators is later. I mean, my daughter's 4 and she's already drawing and painting, and it took me till 8, 9 years old to figure out, oh, I actually can do this. This works with me. But I didn't start doing lettering till I was about 16, 17. I started realizing, and it was graffiti, and I was like, well, I totally enjoy it and still do love looking at graffiti, because the liberty they take with all the letters, to me, it's an art form. It's, they're breaking all the rules and all the boundaries of letters. I mean, some of it is, even to me, it's illegible, but I even still like that. It's like they're taking structured letters and they're taking such artistic freedom with it. So lettering was later, and I've always loved it. It's something that comes again pretty natural to me. So, and I just love it. So that's what I stick with.
Nice.
It's definitely a tough art form too. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't even, the more I get into branding and stuff, I feel like typography is one of those things that always takes me a little bit more time than the rest of it.
Yeah.
I always get to a point where I'm drawing the letters out and everything's going well, and then I get to an S and I'm like, I quit life. I'm done. You got an S in your name? Can't do it. Go ask somebody else.
Your new name is Travi.
Travi. Travi. We'll call you Travi.
No, please.
Travi Anderson. Anderon.
Never want to play well with each other.
What's that?
That's what I struggle with. Like trying to make an L and an E, look good.
Next to each other.
Certain letter pairs that that's where things get broken and
yeah.
Can't find me for an hour.
So last question here, Jared. What walk us through a day in the life at Sueda?
Yeah.
Okay. I usually get up around 7-ish. And the first thing I do is make breakfast for the whole family. I mean, like I said, I left my other position to make sure that, the business is supposed to serve my life, not the other way around. So I make sure that my life and the things that I really care about always come first above the business, and starting off my day with my family is always first and foremost. And, I was making a joke today. They must think I'm a short order cook now, because everybody is kind of honing their breakfast. I want egg whites, no yolks. I want an omelet. And I'm just like, I want to spend time with the family, not be the cook.
Get a little bell on the counter.
You have little tickets. You're hanging the tickets up like,
So,
I got a 2 yolk.
Yeah. But I enjoyed. I mean, and I'm never in a rush anymore to I got to get to emails. I'm not. I'll eat breakfast, hang out with the family for a little bit. Once they get going, then I feel like I can start moving into my day. So the first thing I do is, before anything, I'll look at emails that have come in from the day before or over the night, and try and get through all those emails, respond to everybody, catch up.
What is your average email load?
I don't know, 30, 35 emails. That's including clients. So I got to wait. New clients, responding clients, and revisions. 30 to 40 emails. Usually takes me, to be thorough, it takes me with emails and doing my invoicing, usually takes me about 2.5 hours. So
Yeah.
I'm just getting, right before lunch is when I'm starting to transition out of administration and start getting prepped for my design day or my illustrative day.
Before you even open up
Yeah.
Illustrator, it's lunchtime.
I'm glad you
Yeah,
brought that up, because
so-
that's one thing that I think a lot of people, especially that are getting into freelance or even just doing work from home or whatever, they forget that there's a lot of admin involved. I mean, you're not just gonna wake up and be like, all right, let me design stuff. Like, you're gonna have to be good with emails. Like, you're gonna have to have good grammar. Clients are gonna laugh at you if you're typing in all caps and misspelling stuff, and So I mean, yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up. I mean, 2.5 hours alone, your day is just admin work.
Yeah, and that's not even including if I'm doing any marketing, if I'm building any marketing pieces, if I'm spending time in Instagram. To me, it's playtime, but it's also marketing time. I'm putting things out, I'm looking around, I'm seeing what's going on. So right before lunch is when I'm prepping, and usually before I start doing anything, I immediately start drawing. I just want to loosen up, so I'll do some hand lettering or I'll do some sketching, and it's just to break away from admin, and kind of started getting in creative mode. And then every day is kind of different, which I like. Some days I'll make sure that I've done I've scheduled 2 or 3 lettering jobs, 2, 3 different clients, so I can stay doing lettering all day. Because once I get warmed up, it's easy for me to go through, I don't know, 10, 15 sheets of paper just and fill them up. I mean, I don't waste any space. I'll fill up every little corner and turn the pen 50 different ways. Or
That's the
so
graffiti
every day's
talking.
yeah. So every day is kind of different. It's either designing or, but everything starts with drawing. I like to loosen up. I like to kind of get going. And then I just start jumping into projects. And I never put a time limit on the projects. If I want to work till 5 or 6, I'll work till 5 or 6. If I usually break. I'll definitely always eat dinner with my family and always spend time with my family. But after my kids go down, then if I want to design again or jump back in, that's kind of like my free time to free think, then that's what I'll do.
An average illustration project, from sketch to production, what would you say hours wise you put into that?
Okay, so a rough sketch could go anywhere from 20 minutes to 40, 50 minutes, depending if I'm laboring over even a sketch. I'm just trying to get the shape of the composition down or the look I want. So, anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes there. If the client approves, then the work starts growing. Then it's like another hour and a half to do a finished pencil. And I make sure I work smaller. I'd like to work bigger, but I just don't have the time. So I work on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And that'll take me anywhere from an hour and a half to maybe a little longer. Then I scan that in, and then I'm looking at another hour and a half to 2 hours. But I get a little OCD when I get in the computer because I can only see so well and get only so detailed with a pencil to paper. But when I get in the computer, I can scrutinize, the smallest areas. And I have a tendency to be compulsive with with detail. So I will zoom in and keep adding and keep adding and keep adding. So I could be in there an hour and a half. I could be in there 3 hours. I could be in there 3.5 hours. So every client gets their money's worth. I guarantee that if I really sat down, I do good as far as a profit on hand lettering, but I guarantee illustration, I'm a break even. If not, I should be charging more because I'll spend 6, 7, sometimes 8 hours on an illustration if it's really involved. So, but I would say average is 3, 4. I'd say anywhere from 4 to 6 hours on an illustration. It's a good day's worth of work.
Yeah.
And maybe a type treatment in there somewhere.
It's not bad. That's not bad.
So,
I actually expected it to be more, to be honest.
no.
But I'm sure, you're at the point where you kind of like have honed your skills to the point where, outside of some random marks here and there, you're pretty well versed in how to do everything the quickest, most efficient way possible.
Yeah. Well, you gotta think. I mean, I'm I don't know how many was there, 260 working days or 268 working days. I'm drawing most of those days. Like these 3, I don't know if you can see them. You see these 4?
Mm-hmm.
They're filled.
Man,
They're filled. Like,
you need to open up a tattoo parlor. Like, choose one.
so this is what it looks like. So
Man, yep.
Lettering in there, yeah.
I mean, I'm drawing all the time. So, you're right. I mean, I've gotten to a point where I can be pretty efficient. That's the thing. I mean, like when we started this whole conversation out, I want to work to the point where I don't have a budget of time. I don't have to think I've got 4 to 6 hours. Like I got to get this illustration done today. I'd rather work on a project where I was like, let me spend 30 hours on an illustration. And prior to doing my business, I mean, I used to spend 20 to 30 hours on some illustrations. Like, let's see if I got something here.
gonna say, what is a more than 10-hour illustration look like?
It's a
Hey,
bus wrap.
did those little tech decks ever go to production, or did you just have a few of them made for your own?
No, actually, that was a trade out I did. Um, okay, so here's an illustration. Now, this is be gentle. This is going back, 10 years maybe, but this is something I'll spend.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Wow.
All the
And that's
all
something I
the
spend about 15, 20 hours on.
Yep.
And see, I want to get to a point where I'm doing major illustrations, but then I want to take how I used to do pencils and I want to challenge myself to vector as good as that pencil. So that's what I want to work towards. I want to work towards, major pieces where I'm not thinking, I got 6 hours today. I got 6 hours to do this, this illustration for this client. I'd rather go, I have 30 hours. I've got this week and next week to do whatever I want to do, and then get that in the computer and figure out how to vector this thing. So
Does it differ between a project for, Joe Schmo and if Harley Davidson, calls you up? I know you did some work for them.
no, it makes no difference. I mean, it makes no difference the amount of effort and time I'm going to put into it. I mean, it's the same. It's the same. It's what I'm going to do. My portfolio. I rarely get it, but every once in a while I get somebody going, oh, why do we have to put a deposit? What is it? We want to know kind of what it's going to look like. And I'm like, then go to my website and go check out. I mean, that's pretty much the quality you're going to get. I'm not going to shave you because you're not Harley. I treat Harley like I treat the guy who's just starting up a brand, and I treat the guy that's starting up a brand just like I'll treat Harley. Same systems, same amount of time. If they want an illustration, I'll budget the same amount of time, put in the same amount of effort. I'll give them my best shot. So.
Well, one big thing on that too, and especially I want people that are just starting out. When people ask you why do I have to pay up front, one of the biggest reasons is they're not paying you to throw the pen tool around. They're paying you for a concept, and they're paying you for that illustrative talent or whatever you're creating. So if they want to see it up front, they can take some concept that you've come up with and say, thanks, we're not paying you anything, and then throw it to someone who can just bump it up into Illustrator and make it happen. You know what I mean? So you don't want to show your cards.
I would never ever put pencil to paper if I didn't get a deposit. Never. I mean, it's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous that even some clients even ask that. It's like, I think there's this, and I don't even know why it is, but there's this gray area between, because we're artists, and now I don't get this anymore. I used to get this when I first started out, but I used to think the same way, that there's this gray area. Just because I'm an artist, you want me to labor first, and then you'll decide if you're going to pay me after you see my labor. And I always think, well, let's just take, if you're going to have somebody come over your house and cut your grass, would you say, well, go cut the grass, and when you're done, if I like it, then I'll pay you? They'd look at you and be like, you're ridiculous. If I'm going to go outside and I'm going to labor, you're going to pay me the money.
The metaphor I always use, it's like going to the grocery store, packing your bag, your cart full of cereal, checking out, and being like, oh, wait, well, let me go home and eat it. And then I'm gonna come back and I'll be like, it was pretty good. Here's your $5 for your cereal. Like, no, it's
or you
not
go
gonna
to
happen.
McDonald's and you order a burger and you're like, yeah, wasn't that great? Thanks. I gotta go to Burger King.
I get it every once in a while. A client will say, well, I'm a little nervous to give you, 50%. I'm 50% up front. I mean, that's what it is. It's 50%, and then you get on my schedule. And I always try and tell them, listen, you're gonna get my best shot. And you have every right to challenge me too. I mean, you're paying me. If you don't like what I pitch, we will go back to the drawing board. I mean, I will keep reapproaching. My focal point is not that other 50% and getting that paycheck. My focal point is trying to get your approval. Is for you to open it up and being like, holy crap, that's it. I mean, that's what kind of I live for. The paycheck is also what I live for, but honestly, I want to make sure that client's like, I got more than my money's worth. I'm totally satisfied, and I'll work hard at it. I'll put my talent to work for them. So they always get their money's worth. I'm not worried about it.
I always try to convey that to clients. I'm like, it's a lot better for you as we're going through the process to be like, this sucks, let's start over, than to get all the way to the end of it and then, you be like, thanks for this crap work, and then you not be satisfied. Like, I'd rather you just like tell me up front, I'm not digging this. Let's go a different direction.
Yeah.
Than get to a completed project and then you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just
I mean,
have
I just
to.
had a consultation. I just had a consultation a day or two ago with this with a lady, and I was telling her, and she laughed when I said it. I said, if I pitch, we should be in the ballpark because I've done a good consultation, I've done a good discovery, I kind of got a good idea what you want. But if I pitch and it's not even there, I need you to tell me as blunt as I do not like this. I do like this. I hate this. I really like. And she was like, she laughed, and I said, no, I'm serious. I said, because if we're going to get to a successful end, then it's a collaborative effort. I need your input for this, And then there's other clients who completely trust you. I love the clients that are like, whatever you do, just go. We don't want to lead you. It's carte blanche. Just do whatever you want. I mean, I really like those clients. It's a same challenge. I mean, it's a different challenge. It's in another way. You're kind of having to exceed your own expectation.
I like when clients say that and they actually mean it though, because
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
times, you'll do that and then you're like, yeah, check this out, and they're like, yeah, not really what we were looking for. You're like, wait, what? You're like, I don't even what.
But go ahead and do whatever you want again.
Seriously, whatever you want. Not that, but whatever you want.
This relationship isn't working, and it's not me.
So on those tech deck things, what were you about to say about that?
Okay, so actually, it's called Temple Decks. Is the guy he approached me, and this happens with clients that I see the product they're producing, and I become a little kid again. They've got toys or they've got something I like. So he's like, I want you to do me a logo, and the name of my company is Temple Decks, and I make actual, I think they're 3 or 4 ply actual wood. He's got a mold and he plies them together and sands them, and I'm like, you're kidding? They're real decks? And he's like, yeah, they're real wood. He's like, I'll send you a sample so you get an idea, and then you can build me a logo. The sample came in the mail, and I'm just like, I'm not even thinking about this guy's project anymore. I'm trying to buy stuff off of him. I'm like, can I get like 10 decks, and how do you get graphics on them? And so we worked out a deal. I told him, I said, I'll do your logo, and I'll trade you out goods because I want something and you want something. And he was like, that's great. So I think he gave me 10 decks, 10 of these little decks, and I sent them off to a guy who I work closely with that does vinyl wraps for boats and cars. And I'm like, hey, you think you can wrap these little decks? And he's like, absolutely. So I got the real graphics on the decks. So, and they're just, they're little things that my son's constantly trying to steal out of my office.
I wish you would have done some more of them, because I was like, I want to buy some of these.
If I could have figured out a way to get him a production in actual production without all the labor, because it was a lot of moving parts. It's like, okay, you send me the decks, then I'll send the decks over to here, and he'll, vinyl wrap them. I got to do the graphics for him, and then they got to cut them right. And how much is that going to cost me? And it was just, it was more of a project where I'm just like, I just want toys.
You gotta put the little trucks on and everything.
Yeah.
I was like, I remember these things when I was a kid, man. I had like all of them, Of course,
By
they're
the
all
little
like
skate park.
Yeah, they're all
pieces.
like Tony Hawk and stuff like that.
Well, they were well when you said they were applied, because the little tech decks, they're just like little plastic things,
Yeah,
But the
tech
fact
deck
that they're
ones are
actually
plastic.
built like a real board, that's pretty cool.
they're-
I can appreciate
They're
that a lot.
they're actual wood.
That's so cool, man. It's literally a replica of a real deck. Just
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I don't know if you can see it or not, but you can see the plies.
yeah, I can't see it, but I what is a normal deck? A 7 ply?
Concave.
Yeah, 7 ply
Yeah.
usually.
But man, that's so
That's
cool.
crazy.
So he
That's
just
a good business idea that
yeah.
he came up with. And they have like they came with little trucks and wheels and everything.
No.
Yeah.
No, actually, I got the decks, and then I was like, man, I'd love to, put the hardware on them, but I don't want junk because this isn't like tech deck. It's not like these
Yeah.
plastic junk. And
Yeah.
then he emails me and he's like, I know where you can get the real wheels with bearings in them, the real truck. I'm like,
Wow.
send me the link.
Those are some tiny little bearings, huh?
Your wife looks at the credit card statement and she's like, what is this?
What?
No,
I'm like, this is research and development.
Yeah. Yeah. $400 worth of R&D?
Trying to explain that to my accountant at the end of the year. He's like, you have $7,000 in research and development.
That's funny.
Nice. Well, Jared, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show, man. And we don't want to ever take up too much of your time, but seriously, anytime you want to come on, just let us know and be like, hey, you guys still doing that thing? And we're like, yeah, we're still doing it. No one's watching, but we're still doing it.
Come on over.
Come on over,
Well, I
man.
appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
So we'll definitely have all of Jared's links in the description for you guys to check him out, and I highly recommend it. He's always putting out great stuff. So definitely check him out. And
Can you tell how many people are on right now?
it's been between 30 and 50 for most of the night.
All right. Well, if anybody emails me tomorrow, I'll give them a free font of their choice. So just hit
Snap.
me off with an email, and I'll give them a font.
What's
Snap,
what's your email? That's a great offer.
And
And so
it's only for 2 days because this is going up on YouTube. Don't hit me up in a week from now. If you hit me up, Tuesday and Wednesday, I'll give you a font. It's Jared Jared at Swayda SWEYDA.com.
very cool.
And
man.
just go to
That's-
my shop, pick a font, tell me what font you want, and I'll shoot it off to you.
That's super
Nice.
generous, man.
It's a good deal, guys. Definitely take advantage of it because those fonts are definitely high quality, and I guarantee you that there won't be 100 points on the letter P.
No.
Especially the letter P. P for points. All right,
So
guys.
appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will catch you all next. Sorry,
yeah.
before we go, Evan, what's the challenge for next week?
I don't know yet. Look in the description on YouTube when this goes up. We'll figure something out. It's been that kind of day. I don't know.
It's all good.
His middle name is Preparedness.
Yeah, so look on the description, and we'll have a challenge there.
All right, guys. So thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you guys next week.
Bye.
All right,
Appreciate it.